All right, well, it's just after 5. I think we have most folks representing the city. Igor, were you waiting for more folks on your end from the state? Or are you ready to begin? Igor, can you hear me? You don't appear to be muted, but we can't hear you. Do you have a headphone plugged in or something? Or can everybody hear me okay? All right, thank you.
You're going to call roll, Matt.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a formal roll call per se. I mean, frankly, none of the council members have to attend if they don't want to. But or I guess Jody, maybe because I think we might have a quorum. Yeah, we do have a quorum, I believe. Yeah, we have a quorum. So Jody, why don't you call roll call if you could, please? Thank you, Bob.
Member Jeans,
Here.
Councilmember Ross,
Here.
Councilmember Holloway,
Here.
Councilmember Mayhew, Councilmember Lassay,
Here.
Councilmember Sundwall, and Councilmember Shepherd,
Here.
and Mayor Larson.
I am here. Thank you. This is the exit conference from the state auditor for, I believe, the 2020 budget. Igor, can we hear you now? Are you able to did you get your mic for
It's 2019.
2019? Thank you. Sorry. We still can't hear. Who is the I don't know if any of the hosts or co-hosts can check. I don't know if there's any control on our side of it doesn't appear to be that Igor is muted, but we can't hear him. Igor, maybe something on your end, whether you have something, a microphone device plugged in or a headphone plugged in.
Hi there, I'm Kim Nguyen. I'm Assistant Audit Manager with the State Auditor's Office. Why don't I go ahead and start our presentation, and I'll have Igor present, and I'll just take over his speaking situation spots.
That would be great. Thank you, Kim.
Yep. Sorry about that.
We've
Okay,
all
I'll
been-
just have Igor present our screen, our presentation.
Just a side note to Igor, there is a phone number for a dial-in on the announcement. I did send in the email this morning, so maybe try that phone number, and I apologize. I'm not sure what's
So
happening.
keep your video running. You could do a phone in audio.
And Councilmember Mayhew is now in attendance.
Everybody hear me now?
Oh, we can hear you now, Igor.
Finally, yeah, I was able to figure it out. There was something wrong with my browser.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, we'll go ahead and
Yeah,
have Igor
Go
present his
ahead and
screen.
share the screen.
Oh, what was that?
I am going to go ahead and share the screen.
Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so good evening, everyone. Thank you for having us here tonight to share the results of the city's most recent audit. As I mentioned, my name is Kim Nguyen. I'm an Assistant Audit Manager on Team South King County. I'm filling in for Evans Anglin, who is the Audit Supervisor. Joining me tonight is Igor Shishov, who is the audit lead. Okay, if we can get to the next slide. Okay, before we get started, it's important to note that the presentation we prepared for you represents an overall summary of our completed audit. To supplement this presentation, we've provided a packet of information that will include copies of our audit reports to be issued and related audit recommendations. While we do not plan to speak from the packet today, we're prepared to reference where we can to locate the results being shared within your packet. So with that, let's begin. Whether you're new to the audit process or have been through one in the past, understanding audit results is important to establishing and maintaining good government. First, audits help build trust in your organization by letting you know whether things are working or whether there are areas that might need fine-tuning. Audits can shine a light on areas that are important to your citizens, external stakeholders, and your own employees. Second, as an independent organization that conducts over 2,600 audits of state and local governments each year, our audits can be relied upon to provide transparent results directly to citizens. And lastly, audit recommendations are made to assist your government in continuing to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of its operations. Our goal tonight will be to make sure you understand the results of your audit and to answer any questions that you might have. At this time, I'll go ahead and hand it over to Igor, so he'll go over the results of your accountability audit.
So we performed 2 audits for the city of Snoqualmie. One was accountability. The second one was a financial statement audit. And we're going to go ahead and start with accountability audit results. For the city of Snoqualmie, we performed an accountability audit that covered the period January 1, 2019 through December 31, 2019. And we used a risk-based approach to identify the audit areas that we were looking at and perform testing procedures. On this page, you can see the summary of our opinion on accountability report. It's in the blue box. And it says the following: in those selected areas, city operations complied in all material respects with applicable state laws, regulations, and its own policies, and provided adequate controls over the safeguarding of public resources. What this all means is basically we issue an unmodified opinion, which also we can say that the accountability audit was clean.
I didn't understand the last word.
The audit was clean.
Clean. Thank you.
Yes.
That's exactly the opinion you want. So that's
Yes.
good news. Before Igor moves on, did anyone have any questions about the accountability audit? Okay, great.
There is one question I do have. It's just regarding if you want to let the council know, that there were some hotline complaints that were looked at, but there was absolutely no findings coming out of those.
Yes, Robert, we're going to cover it in the next slide.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
Yeah. So on this slide, you can see the audit areas that we included in our accountability audit this year. And again, I want to explain you a little bit about how we conduct accountability audits. We use a risk-based approach, which basically means is we conduct a number of planning procedures, such as analytical procedures. We review the council meeting minutes. We analyze the hotline complaints. We do a trend of financial transactions and a number of different other procedures. And based on all of that, we select audit areas for the current year's audit. This year, we selected budget compliance, payroll. We specifically looked at overtime and double time. We also looked at utility billing adjustments, which is our IT review of the Springbook system. Next one, we also looked and tested accounts payable, electronic funds transfer, and part of that audit area was also a follow-up on prior year management letter. And finally, we looked at the contract compliance. we included solid waste contract in the testing procedures. That audit area was partially our follow-up on prior year management letter, and also we incorporated hotline complaint in this audit area. So we pretty much covered everything we found as something we wanted to follow up and do more testing in this current year audit. And based on the testing procedures and all the reviews we've done, the audit was issued as clean.
Excellent. Thank you, Igor.
We also wanted to cover the status of prior year management letter items. There were 4. We had a fund presentation. That one we considered fully resolved. We also looked at disbursements accounts payable, which we talked about on the previous slide. That was partially resolved, but I wanted to elaborate a little bit more on that audit area. We consider it partially resolved for the audit year, specifically 2019. However, the city management implemented a new report format and procedures for the council claims approval, which is used to present the items for the council approval. And we expect this issue to be fully resolved going forward. Contracts and agreements we consider in the prior year management letter issue fully resolved. And finally, cash receiving. We didn't do any testing on that, but we considered partially resolved based on the response to prior year management letter received from management. Management implemented a number of improvements. However, the citywide cash receiving policy was still in development. Once the policy is implemented, we would consider it fully resolved. Do you have any questions on that slide? We'll keep going then. Next, we're going to cover financial statement audit. The scope of financial statement audit was also January 1, 2019 through December 31, 2019. And on this page, you can find the summary of our audit. Basically, it's again unmodified opinion, which we also can say is clean. So the city receives clean financial statement audit, which is the opinion you want to receive.
I have a question about GAAP. So this is just a standard adverse opinion that you give to all cities who are working on a cash basis. Is that correct?
Yes,
Exactly. Yes, that's correct.
And there's probably a majority of small cities that are on a cash basis. Is that correct?
We have a fair number. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Igor.
Yeah,
Sorry.
go ahead, Kim. Yeah.
We do have a fair number of cash basis entities. It's not necessarily all of one type, but like you mentioned, any cities that do report on a cash basis in Washington State, it's the BARS manual, and it's a cash basis, and so therefore we have, as auditing standards require, that we include that adverse opinion. It's essentially just to say that you do not prepare your financial statements on a GAAP basis.
Do you see cities trending toward adopting GAAP?
But, I have seen 1 or 2 cities that have transitioned to GAAP. That being said, you have to take into account your operations as well as the costs associated with a GAAP audit. GAAP audits can be quite expensive because there are additional reporting requirements and schedules. And I guess ultimately the city has to kind of determine whether the additional reporting would be beneficial to its operations. We don't really say one way or another whether you should be on one basis of counting versus another.
Okay, thank you.
Just one more slide on the results of financial statement audit. We found no uncorrected misstatements. And there were also no material misstatements that management corrected during the audit. So that all tells you about the audit, and it was clean again. On this point, I'm going to hand it over to Kim again.
Okay, thanks, Igor. So Tracker is a tool developed by our office. So have you ever struggled to locate prior audit results? Well, whether this is because of turnover in key staff or just the occasional misplaced paper file, we know it can be really hard to recall prior audit results, especially when it could be some of our entities, it's been a few years since their last audit. For that reason, we would like to bring to your attention a new tool that our office released in 2019 to help manage audit information and provide more timely updates to your constituents. Tracker is a new program available through our client portal on our website that allows you to access prior audit recommendations. It's a great tool to easily recall prior audit findings and management letters without having to retain paper files. In addition, Tracker also allows you to provide interim status updates on any progress made correcting these items, while the status updates for all findings and management letters will be visible to you and our audit staff. It's important to know that the status updates for audit findings are also visible to the public. As such, this tool can be utilized to increase accountability to your citizens and to show efforts you've made to correct these issues. Okay, we'll go ahead and move to the next slide. Okay, and so now that we've shared the results of the city's audit, we do have a few closing remarks to bring to your attention to conclude our presentation. First, we're pleased to report that the cost of our engagement is expected to be within the estimate previously provided. So we thank the city for its timely responses to our audit requests, which allowed our audit to progress efficiently and remain within budget. In addition, we've included information on the city's next audit in your exit package. We expect to have accountability and financial statement audit, and it will occur fall of this year. As well, we've also included a cost estimate for your budgetary needs as well. Okay, we'll go ahead and transition to the next slide. Okay, in terms of report publication, we do expect the city's report to be published on our website this week. If you have not already, you can sign up to receive email notifications on when reports are released, as well as to receive news articles, alerts, which include resources our office publishes. So in the past, I know that we've, as a courtesy, we've provided an email which included a link to the report on our website, and also may have attached the final report as a PDF. So we've changed this practice in our continuing effort to clearly communicate with you while following cybersecurity best practices by avoiding extra links and attachments. Our new correspondence will notify you when our reports are released and provide helpful instructions on how to locate your government's audit report on our website. In addition, we will also be sending a customer service survey. So we do encourage you, as well as anyone else that participated in the audit, to complete the survey. We appreciate all the feedback that we do receive, and we are really focused on wanting to meet your service needs, and we're open to making any adjustments that would provide for a better audit. And then with that, I'll go ahead and turn over our presentation to Igor to close out our evening.
So we finally would like to thank you, everybody who helped us to get the audit done on the city side. We understand and realize that that was a first year. We conducted 2 audits, actually, accountability and financial statement remotely. And we worked closely with all the city staff who were very creative on how to provide us the documents remotely. Sometimes it was scanning documents in PDF. Sometimes it was giving us the documents in Excel format. Anyways, that was a lot of work in conjunction with all the other efforts City was doing to manage the pandemic. All right. In particular, we would like to thank our audit liaison, Jerry, as well as Robert, the finance director.
Great. Anything else, Igor?
Yes, it's time for questions now.
Very good.
Okay.
Any questions, council members or staff? Any other comments?
It looks like we do have some questions.
Oh, sorry. We do. Yeah. Councilmember Mayhew and Councilmember Jeans.
Yeah, first off, State Auditor's Office, thank you very much for a thorough audit and tracking down. I know you had some things in the accountability audit to track down, and thank you for the great work in getting through it. I know it's been a trying year to get through audits, a whole new thing you've had to do with COVID. So thank you very much for all your work. I'm particularly pleased by your slide letting us know that you plan to get back for the 2020 audit in the fall, which is back to the more timely thing that you've tried to do historically for us, and which, as you all know, timely information is as important as quality information. So just fantastic to see that you're trying to get back on schedule. Please do that. That's very valuable to us, and thank you. And then I would just like to say to the staff, what a fantastic job. Mr. Hammoud, you and your staff should be very proud of what you've accomplished. This is how we hope that you will run the finances for our city, and it's just very gratifying to receive this report and know that you're getting the job done. So thank you very much. Thanks for supporting what was probably a much tougher audit process, but thank you for the outcome and for all that you do to make sure that we get to that. So great job. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilmember Mayhew. Councilmember Jeans.
Kim and Igor, thank you very much for meeting the challenge caused by the pandemic. And it sounds like you met the challenge very well. I'm wondering, when you do the next audit or going into the future, is there some advantages, including your time and expenses, to continue doing it remotely, or will you look forward to coming back in person? Please comment on how remotely went and where you're going to go in the future.
I can speak to this question. Thank you. It's actually something that's on a lot of our clients' minds right now, as far as, some of our clients really love the fact that we're doing these audits remotely. It does save on travel costs. And so that's something to think about. And our agency's direction currently is, we do anticipate some type of hybrid model where there will be some days we're working on site and some days we'll be off site. So this is kind of particularly important when you provide your survey on whether you liked your remote audit. That will help us to kind of plan for the fall.
Did you find it to be more difficult or easier, or maybe a combination of both?
I'll have Igor speak to this, since I'm just filling in for Evans. So Igor, take it away.
Yeah, I just find it different. It's not more difficult. It's not easier. Sometimes we just need to be more creative on not the type of information we request, but on how to obtain that information remotely. And that's mostly relies on the city management and city staff, not us. But I would just conclude it's different.
Yeah, well, Igor, do you have the same level of confidence with one method or the other, whether it's remote or being more in person?
Yes, because ultimately the financial information and other information is still the same.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you. Councilmember Ross.
I just want to say kudos, congratulations to Mr. Hammoud, Mr. Knutson, and also Ms. Henderson, and all your hard work. I was looking it up. It looks like from a previous state audit that we had, there was a comment that we have not had any state audit findings since 2010. And so this is continuing. So it really speaks to the processes that you have, the internal controls, and to your staff. So nice job. And thank you, auditors, for just confirming what we believe in, what we believe they're doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Ross. I don't see anybody else's hand up. And again, this isn't although I appreciate there's members of the public that has joined us, this isn't a public meeting per se, so I'm not providing an opportunity for public comment. But Robert, go ahead.
I just wanted to add to some of the points that you made and Councilmember Ross made. This was certainly a new way to do the audit also on our end, and just kudos to Jerry Knudsen and Kyla Henderson for really taking the lead, and the rest of my staff. I mean, as you know, one of the reasons we're transitioning to a new ERP is to automate a lot of the processes that are manual. But manual means paper, so there had to be a lot of scanning involved of our transactions, of our reports given to the state auditor's office. So, we had staff that had to come in different hours. We had to coordinate it because of COVID to make sure that we scanned, got them the data they needed. So I just wanted to recognize my staff for the extra hours and the extra effort they put in to get that information in the auditor's office too.
Great. Okay, so I don't see any other hands up. I concur with council members. Robert, congratulations to you and the staff, particularly Jerry. I know Jerry puts a lot of time into that. Great job. And Kim and Igor, as other council members and here said, thank you for your efforts too. We appreciate you giving the public confidence in the work that our staff does. So appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
If there's no other questions or comments, then I think that concludes the exit interview. Anything else, Igor or Kim?
Nothing for me. I just want to thank you all for your time this evening and just to keep up the great work.
Great, thank you. All right, have a good evening.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.